We're dying to see him veto this and go through it line by line and get rid of it. I want to move on to another subject. You've said many times, you personally, I've heard you say it, that we need more union representation in America in order to even out the wealth distribution. The union people need a greater voice. So you've supported card check consistently, and President Obama supports card check to make unionization much easier.
And Vice President Biden as well.
Indeed he has. So what's your reaction when we hear that in Miami Beach right now there is a lavish convention of the AFL-CIO holding a lavish meeting at a very nice hotel? I mean, the president has railed against the bankers who go on junkets. What about the union guys who you support?
I can't speak to the lavishness of the hotel that you're talking about. I haven't seen any evidence of that. What I will tell you is this: when the president is railing against the bankers, he's not just abstractly choosing a group to rail against. He's talking about folks who have received considerable sums of money from the American taxpayer for a very straight and intent purpose, which has to do with investment.
So have the union people. So have the union people. Wait a second. Sorry, Jared, but the union people have as well.
What's the bailout there? Where's the
United Auto Workers Union has received direct money from the U.S. taxpayer, which supports their lavish health and pension plan. 1,200,000 retired union workers are living on very nice pensions and health benefits on my money.
Now,
and some of them are spending that money in Miami Beach right now.
Let me make 2 points. First of all, the loans, and these are loans to the auto companies, went to the big three, to Chrysler and GM, not simply to the UAW. They also went to the companies themselves to help sustain their viability. But let's get this point straight. When we're talking about unions, remember what President Obama said a few weeks ago when this topic came up. It had to do with Vice President Biden's middle class task force. A strong labor movement equals a strong middle class. Now, what you and the viewers recognize, or at least I hope recognize, is that while this economy was growing and expanding over the years of the 2000s, the productivity was growing, middle-income families were falling behind. And one of the reasons they were falling behind is because they did not have the bargaining power of the clout to claim their fair share of the growth that they themselves were helping to create. Far too much of that growth accumulated at the very top of the wealth scale. Unions are a countervailing voice that help balance out that bargaining arrangement. And I don't think you can disagree with that.
No, fair point. Here's another point I'd just like to raise. I'm of the belief that in the last generation, the United States has been the best performing economy of all the industrial democracies. We've had the best rate of growth going back to the very early 1980s. We've beaten the Europeans. We've even beaten the Japanese. That was based on essentially a free market, open, competitive economy. I suspect, sir, that you've changed course. In the last 4 weeks, you've done more to change the course of this economy, make us more like Europe, introduce far more government than has been done in the previous 25 years of prosperity.
I think that is a very sweeping misread of what we are about. I mean, this president, this vice president are deeply, truly, wholly committed to the same free market principles that have prevailed here since the beginning of time. What